Have you ever felt like you know all the right verses, you've heard all the right sermons, but somehow you still don't know what to actually do on a Tuesday afternoon when the stress hits? You know you're supposed to abide. You've heard the word 100 times, but nobody ever showed you what it looks like at 2:47 p.m., when your boss is texting you, your kids are yelling, and your phone won't stop buzzing. That's the gap we're closing today. Not another sermon on what abiding means, a real, practical walkthrough of what abiding actually looks like, hour by hour in an ordinary day. By the end of this video, you're not going to walk away with a nice idea. You're going to walk away with something you can use tomorrow morning, the moment your feet hit the floor. Let's start with the honest truth. Most of us don't struggle to understand abiding. We struggle to practice it. We know the theory, we just don't know where it fits between the alarm clock and the commute. So today, we're not talking about concepts, we're talking Monday morning. Picture two people waking up at the exact same time. The first person's eyes open, and their mind is already running. Before their feet even touch the floor, they're replaying yesterday's argument, calculating today's to-do list, worrying about money they don't have yet. They shuffle to the bathroom, and while they're brushing their teeth, they're not really there. They're 3 days ahead in their head, rehearsing a conversation that hasn't happened yet. By the time the shower water hits their skin, their whole body's already tense, and the day hasn't even started. The second person's eyes open, and before their feet touch the floor, they whisper one sentence. Something as simple as, "Good morning, Lord, walk through today with me." No long prayer, no perfect words, just a door being opened before anything else rushes in. And here's the thing, they don't stop there. While they're brushing their teeth, they let one more thought slip in. Thank you for this day. While the water's running in the shower, another one. Help me be patient today. Small, quiet, barely noticeable to anyone watching, but each one is a threat, tying their morning back to him before the world gets a chance to grab it first. Same morning, same alarm, same bathroom mirror, two completely different starting points. That's the difference practical abiding makes. And it starts before you've even left your bedroom. Here's why this matters more than most people realize. Whoever gets to your heart first in the morning tends to set the tone for the whole day. It's not really about your phone. Your phone is just one thief among many. It could be worry, it could be yesterday's argument replaying on a loop. It could be the pressure of everything you have to get done before noon. Whatever gets there first gets to shape you first. But if God gets even a few seconds of that space before the noise moves in, your whole day starts from a different foundation. And it's not about adding another task to your morning. It's about slipping a few small, honest sentences into the moments you're already living through, the brushing, the showering, the getting dressed, so that by the time you walk out your front door, you've already been with Him. Let's talk about what abiding actually is in plain language. Jesus said it simply in John 15. Abide in me and I in you. He didn't attach that command to a mood or a feeling. He attached it to a choice made over and over. Abiding isn't a mood. It isn't a feeling you either have or don't have on a given day. Abiding is a series of small returns. Think of it like this. Your attention is constantly drifting the way a boat drifts from shore even when it's anchored nearby. Abiding isn't never drifting. Abiding is noticing you've drifted and turning back. You don't fail at abiding by getting distracted. You fail at abiding by never turning back around. So, let's build your blueprint. Here are 3 simple, repeatable habits you can start using today to handle that drift throughout an actual day. Habit 1, the reset breath. Every time your chest tightens, your jaw clenches, or your mind starts spinning, that's your signal. Instead of pushing through it or scrolling past it, take one slow breath and say a single sentence to God. Something like, "You're still here. I'm not doing this alone." That's it. Not a whole prayer, not a Bible study, one sentence in the moment the pressure hits. To understand why this is so powerful, look at the disciples in Mark chapter 4. They're stuck in the middle of a massive storm on the Sea of Galilee. The waves are crashing over the boat, they're taking on water, and they're absolutely panicking. They wake Jesus up, and what does He do? He doesn't give them a lecture on faith or weather patterns. He simply speaks to the wind and says, "Peace, be still," and the storm instantly stops. When you practice the reset breath, you aren't trying to change your circumstances. You are asking Jesus to speak those exact same words, "Peace, be still," to the storm raging inside your mind. Think about the moment you're sitting in traffic and someone cuts you off. Your hand's already halfway to the horn, your heart rate spikes, and normally that anger would carry you for the next hour. The reset breath interrupts that story. One breath, one sentence, and the moment doesn't own you anymore. This works because abiding was never meant to happen only in quiet rooms with your eyes closed. It was meant to happen in traffic, in meetings, in arguments. The reset breath brings God into the actual moment the stress is happening, not just the moments you've set aside for Him. Habit 2, the small yes. Throughout your day, you'll get dozens of tiny invitations to choose differently, to respond gently instead of sharply, to forgive instead of replaying the offense, to tell the truth instead of the easier self-protecting lie. We often get overwhelmed because we think God is only watching the giant heroic moments of our faith. But Jesus showed us a completely different scale. In Luke 16:10, He says, "One who is faithful in a very little is also faithful in much." And the prophet Zechariah reminds us, "Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin." God isn't waiting for you to build a heroic moment. He's looking at the very little moments of your ordinary Tuesday. Think about it like this. It's the moment a coworker says something passive-aggressive, and your instinct is to fire back a sarcastic comment. The small yes is choosing to just let it drop. It's the moment you're tempted to exaggerate a story to look better, but you choose the simple, unvarnished truth instead. None of these choices feel dramatic in the moment. Nobody claps for them. But here's what nobody tells you. Those tiny, quiet yeses are where abiding actually lives. Abiding was never going to show up as one giant, dramatic spiritual breakthrough. It shows up as 20 small surrenders scattered across your day. Choose just one of those small yeses today, and you've abided more in that moment than in an hour of theoretical studying. Habit 3, the evening return. Before you fall asleep, take 60 seconds to walk back through your day with God. Not to judge yourself, not to catalog your failures, just to notice. Where did you feel His presence today? Where did you forget Him completely? You're not doing this to feel guilty. You're doing this so tomorrow you can recognize the drift just a little bit faster. Think about Peter. He was the most passionate disciple, promising Jesus he would follow Him even to death. Yet by the warmth of a courtyard fire, he drifted and denied Him 3 times. But look at how Jesus met him later on the beach. Not with condemnation, and not with a lecture. He met him with breakfast and a gentle, repeated invitation to try again. It's exactly what we read in Lamentations 3. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Maybe you remember the moment at lunch when you paused before responding to a rude text. Praise God for that small win. Maybe you remember the entire hour you completely forgot Him where stress took over and you didn't even think to pray. Bring that to Him too without any shame. This one habit alone will change the shape of your week because you'll start noticing your own patterns. You'll see which hours of your day you tend to lose your footing and which hours you naturally remember Him. That awareness is half the battle. Look at what just happened. We just walked through an entire day from the moment your eyes opened through the stress of the afternoon all the way to shutting your eyes at night. And notice what we didn't add. We didn't add a 2-hour prayer marathon to your schedule. We just added a rhythm. Here's what starts happening once these 3 habits become normal. You stop needing a perfect quiet time to feel connected to God. You stop treating Sunday as the only day He shows up. Connection stops being an event you schedule and starts being a rhythm you carry. And slowly, without you forcing it, your reactions change. You catch yourself responding instead of exploding. You catch yourself feeling steady in situations that used to wreck you completely. Not because you got stronger on your own, but because you were actually staying near the one who was strong the whole time. Think about someone who used to snap at their kids after a hard day at work. 6 weeks into practicing these 3 habits, that same person catches themselves mid-sentence, takes a breath, and chooses gentleness instead. Nobody around them knows why. They just know something about that person has quietly changed. This is what makes abiding practical instead of just poetic. It's not a mystical state you either achieve or miss. It's a rhythm made of tiny returns, morning, midday, and night. Miss one, and you simply return to the next one. There's no failing at this. There's only forgetting and remembering over and over, until remembering becomes your normal setting. So, here's your invitation today. Don't try to overhaul your entire life by tonight. Just pick one of these 3 habits, the morning reset, the small yes, or the evening return, and practice it today. Just one. Tomorrow, add another. This is what practical abiding actually looks like. Not in a mood, not a mountaintop moment. Just a life built out of small, repeated returns to the one who never left you. If this gave you something you can actually use starting today, let me know in the comments which one of these 3 habits you're going to start with. And if you know someone who needs a practical way to stay close to God this week, send this to them. Subscribe for more faith content that doesn't just inspire you, it gives you something to actually do with it. Thank you so much for watching Bible Resolve, and I'll see you in the next one.